Back Nigeria, you're still watching the TVC breakfast show. That banter was something. But it's time for the newspaper review, where we take a look at all the daily headlines making today's front pages. Let's dive right in. The Nation newspaper has this for us: conflict court orders on PDP convention. PDP factions are clashing as a result of this. Both Damagum and Anyanwu's factions have given conflicting directives. The judgment today in Lamido's suit. Very interesting. PDP, yesterday they made the headlines. Today, once again, we find them making the headlines. Let's go right over to the leadership newspaper. People's Democratic Party leaders arrive in Ibadan ahead of the national convention. The big boys are stepping in. It's time to really see.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. Interesting sub-headline here on the leadership newspaper. The United Nations names Nigeria and 15 other countries as food insecurity hotspots. This is not a new news, and I'm wondering why this is coming now with the narrative that are spreading about Nigeria. Very convenient, because this isn't new information, don't you think, guys?
No.
But we've got to move on now. The Daily Independent. Despite a court order, PDP has vowed to go ahead with their national convention. What does that tell us about their regard for the rule of law? What do I know? The federal government is not ready to meet our demands. ASU laments. Very interesting. We just had a conversation about the state of our education. The Punch newspaper: ex-generals fume as FG orders probe. The FCT minister, Yerima face-off, has sparked concerns over civilian-military relations. As we expected it would, that was a showdown, what I called Wahala, Kasala, Palava. Moving on to the Nigerian News Direct. Prioritize criticism that will build Nigeria. This is Tinubu to all the editors. My people in the back, can you hear me? My fellow newsmen. As the presidency promises tax reliefs grants to rescue struggling media houses. We're going to really dive deep. Nelson, I know you have a lot to say. The Guardian newspaper: NGE, the Nigerian Guild of Editors, or the National Guild of Editors, insists on free press as Tinubu urges fairness and pledges recovery of Nigeria's media space. We are the fourth estate, and it's good that the focus is on us this morning. Sub-headline here: Kanu prays appeal court to stop terrorism charge ruling. Last I checked, I thought he was writing to President Trump.
He's a very busy man.
A very busy man, even behind bars. Moving on to the Hope newspaper. Again, the president to the Nigerian editors: protect democracy and defend truth. Very powerful statement there. Platform Times says English takes over, and I don't want to get the Ethic Prince will jump right in. English takes over as the federal government scraps indigenous language teaching policy. The minister says that our mother tongue instruction destroyed our education in some regions. Very interesting. The Blueprint paper: President OK's tax relief, deductions, VAT exemptions for media. Like I said, we are the fourth estate. This has been a long time coming. And back over to Sporting Live. The training issue has been resolved. This is by Williams Troost Ekong. Very interesting. And the Eagles are banking on Osimhen, for lack of a better phrase, no be today. So that, guys, let's get right into it. This is a lot is happening today. I hope we can talk everything. We'll jump right in with the Nation newspaper. Conflicting court orders on convention. PDP factions are clashing, and some of the headlines that Toma are saying that they're still arriving currently right now in Ibadan for the convention, despite these conflicting court orders. Three conflicting court orders we saw yesterday, and the Nigerian judicial, I forgot their name now, but they said that they're going to actually bring down their wrath because these court orders they're disposing the rule of law. There has to be one uniform court order.
When the umpire gets compromised,
NJC,
Yes.
when the umpire gets compromised, you are asking the footballers or whatever game you are taking care of to behave anyhow they want. I mean, how can you have conflicting judgments over the same thing? And apart from that, we've had situations before where conventions like that have been. People within a party have tried to delay or cancel a convention, and the convention went ahead in spite of court rulings again. So for me, the judiciary has to take care of itself. They have to look at the internal issues within the judiciary and give it the dignity that it deserves. Once the judiciary puts their acts together, Nigerians will be compelled to take whatever verdict comes from there a little bit more serious. So The ones that are in Ibadan now are running with that decision that says you can go ahead. Yeah. The ones that are not there are running with the decision that says you can't go ahead. So you put the people in a situation where some will do it and it's legal, some will not do it and it's legal, and that's a very dangerous situation.
Absolutely, and Nelson, I actually believe that however the PDP handles these court rulings or the utmost court ruling will tell us a lot about where they stand in regards to rule of law and their respect for due process, if you ask me. They're saying right now that an Oyo court has extended an order forbidding any interference with Saturday's meeting, and their leaders are already arriving in Ibadan ahead of the convention.
I wouldn't say that the PDP does not have or do not have respect for the rule of law in the country.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that what will happen is that the information coming from this will tell us what they believe.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't say they do not, because it is conflict of legal or court orders here. The first case went to court. The court said you cannot do this, or rather you can do this. The second case went to another court, and the court said you cannot. Now, if, and Nigerians need to know this, these matters went to the same court of same order. In other words, if we're on the same appeal court, both cases went to the appeal court. If one judge in an appeal court sat on a matter, or rather in a high court rather, sat on a matter and gave judgment, why would another faction of the same PDP take the same matter wherein a judgment has already been given to the same court of jurisdiction to seek a different kind of judgment? If you wanted to upturn a previous court order on a matter, you take it to the appeal court to turn that, and if Wahala consists, take it to the Supreme Court, who now becomes the final order on a matter. You can't. If we're both of the same age, same experience, and you come to me, I give a different counsel, the person comes to you, give a different counsel. So which one do you now want the people to take? So at the end of the day, my faction that received a judgment that says, go ahead, we're coming. Your own faction that said, don't come now, which then leaves the PDP in disarray.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't look good for them at the end of the day. They can't continue like this.
Absolutely, and when we think about the purpose of a convention, right, it's both a strategic and a symbolic event. It's where the party comes together to make key decisions and strengthen their internal democracy. So if one faction is going with a ruling where they're not going to be there, it's not time for the convention, another faction is actually showing up in Ibadan, everybody needs to be there, because this is the time for them to make pertinent and pivotal decisions for the party.
Well, and from what we hear, about 3,000 delegates are already in Ibadan. I mean, the delegates can't miss a convention.
We know what that means.
You know.
Very interesting. The Daily Independent, still on PDP. You know, the PDP has vowed to go ahead with the national convention. We watch and we wait indeed on that. I'm sure Politics Tonight, Nelson, will carry that. Sub-headline here on the Daily Independent: the federal government is not ready to meet our demands. ASU laments. This matter doesn't seem to be dying down anytime soon. I mean, for decades, ASU and the federal government have been going back and forth. It doesn't matter the administration. This is now commonplace.
I would love to see the details. I would love to see what ASU saw that made them come to this conclusion. And for ASU to have come to this conclusion and make it so public, there's something really wrong. I will appeal that please listen to them. Education is just too important. Listen to ASU, and ASU also listen to the federal government. You guys have to find a middle ground.
Absolutely. We will move on right now to The Punch. Wike-Naval officer clash, ex-generals Fume as the federal government orders a probe into this incident, and the FCT minister of Wike and Yerima face-off has sparked concerns, Nelson, over civilian-military relations. I was reading online, I know that the Minister of Defense came out and said, you know, we'll support him, nothing will happen to him, he was acting on orders. On the other hand, I saw some groups online calling for his dismissal. Whether you like it or not, people are calling him, not myself, but a national sensation. You know, for standing up to impunity. And I think we're making this more symbolic than it actually is. We are so quick to martyr people in this country.
Exactly. I was raised to follow the truth and not be sentimental. I might hate you, Olamide, I might not like you, but when black is black, I'll call it black. When it's white, I'll call it white, concerning you. We can hate each other later. But on a matter that is truth, truth is sacrosanct, no matter where you take it to. The country is rousing around this military officer because it is a wiki involved.
Yes.
If it was another figure involved who was liked, maybe the narrative wouldn't have been like this.
Yeah.
Somebody had to put up a video of Governor Sanwo-Olu, and I did a documentary on that.
Yes, I remember.
During the Magodo incident. And you saw the same face of, but see the way that man responded to Governor Sanwo-Olu. And then somebody made a comment underneath.
And how Sanwo-Olu conducted himself.
Well, juxtapose the conduct of that gentleman to Sanwo-Olu. Now, if you look at the narrative of what happened, we have a conversation on this. I don't want to go into long details about the matter. If you look at what happened at the end of the day, you realize that, like I said yesterday, both sides were wrong. However, the military hierarchy has come out and said they will protect their own. Of course, they should protect their own. But looking into this matter to really find out where the fault was and fix it.
Absolutely, it's very interesting to see that it's convenient when it's convenient for us. We want to like the military. We want to give them the utmost power, and when it's not, we take that power away and that narrative.
No, before you jump to the next thing, I personally commend the military officer for being a real military officer. He behaved as one. Yes. He stood by the order that he was given. Yes. And that is what the military, that is the bedrock of the military. I give you an order, you carry it out, you know. For the other side of it, I don't think we have the time to go into it. But for those people that are saying sack that military officer, I am not one of them. I'm saying that man did his job.
Guys, online, I saw people selling shirts that were saying, "I'm not a fool, so I have integrity." In bold print, and whether we like it or not, whatever side of the divide you stand on, that line is epic and iconic. Yes. I'm not a fool, sir. I have integrity. Enough said. Oh, yeah. We've got to move on now. We're taking it right to the Nigerian News Direct. And the president is telling all editors, prioritize criticism that build Nigeria. As the presidency promises tax relief grants to rescue struggling media houses. You know, media at home is the fourth estate. You've watched this sector transform over the past decade or two, and you've seen, you know, administrations either support or renege on their support for media houses. How important do you think this statement is by the president? It
is a very, very important, because let me tell you something. A lot of media houses are on air. Like we'll come out and we'll smile and we'll do our stuff, but the media house is bleeding. It's sort of floating. It's not like we would say in two leg no day for ground, you know. So with this kind of tax reliefs and all that, it will go a long way in getting media houses to function well. In Nigeria, some of the things that we need to do our jobs, we don't have them, yet we do the jobs that we have decided to do out of passion, out of the fact that this is what you love. It is heartwarming to see that Mr. President recognizes that we are the fourth estate of the realm, and he's doing everything to support us. But where he said, prioritize truth over everything, truth is relative.
Indeed, Nelson, the president is not just giving us qualitative support, media qualitative support. He's actually promising tax reliefs and financial support and grants to media houses that are struggling. So I'll take you over to The Guardian, where it says, the Nigerian Guild of Editors insists on free press as Tinubu urges fairness, pledges recovery. We saw what happened with the BBC earlier on this week. Does a free press truly exist? Anywhere in the world?
It does and it doesn't.
When stories are constantly swayed by narratives and agendas.
It does and it doesn't. Because the press, like the president rightly identified to them, at that conference, we shape narrative. What we say is what becomes the society's realm. And so on that aspect, that's the answer. But I really appreciate the president for what he's doing now, because a lot of media houses are frankly struggling to stand. And so if the president is going to bring that kind of waivers that he said, it will be really, really good for us so that we can find our footing. Yeah?
Absolutely. Very interesting. And the Hope newspaper is on the same line. Tinubu telling editors, protect democracy, defend truth. He warns that misinformation is threatening our national cohesion in the digital age. And this is very true.
And Etoma, you said that truth is relative. I absolutely agree. The question I want to ask, can government withstand truth?
That is a very, very pertinent...
Not just government can Nigerians can the world withstand the truth.
Absolutely, and news more. We've seen news more than ever takes on a different shape in the digital age. Yes. I mean, we all saw the face-off between Wike and the young naval officer. If you see the stories online, completely different. The stories have been twisted, and the narrative has been spun. And so the digital
all
age,
kinds of skits,
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And sir, we are trying our best to tell the truth. Sometimes it's hard, but thank you for standing behind us. Moving on to this Nigeria newspaper. Okay, no. Moving on to Platform Times, Nelson. English takes over as federal government scraps indigenous language teaching policy. Yeah. I'll take you to a quick sub-headline here. The Senate dismisses an alleged plot to impeach Akpabio. They say Kalu was quoted out of context.
Damage control.
I think it was said. Let's move on.
Let's go on.
Heading right over to the Blueprint newspaper. The Senate has approved the federal government's 1.5 trillion naira loan request. You know, there's a mixed bag of reactions right now online. Some people are saying this is great. You know, it's a much needed monetary relief for Nigerians. Other people are saying more loans, more borrowing, more debt at our current economic stance.
Yes, I can sympathize with those people that are saying more loans, more debt, because right now our debt profile is almost 200 trillion, you know. It is almost 200 trillion, and you wonder, what are we going to do as a country to pay back 200 trillion, and how long is it going to take us to do that? Because the way it is going, there will still be need for the country to take more loans. What about paying back? What are the parameters put in place for paying back those loans? Because we need Nigeria to have a very solid image and our integrity intact.
Absolutely, you are very right, Itoma. I couldn't have said it better myself. Blueprint newspaper has for us Tinubu OK's tax relief deductions, VAT exemptions for media. I'm very curious, Nelson, very quickly, what will this look like for private and public media houses? It
would mean that we don't put too much strain on our clients who come to do business with us in terms of adverts and so on and forth. 1, 2, it will also mean that the government is not taking, because why we do that on our clients, because we're paying taxes and VATs, on every item that runs on there by way of adverts and promotions and coverages and so on and forth. So if the government reduces on our side, we reduce on the other side. So we now have a little bit more money to pay our salaries, keep the generators running, and a few things, within the house, and which is really important. And most importantly, getting servers. It breaks the neck to get one.
Yeah, I love the fact that
the most importantly for me is that the media houses now can produce better programs because they can fund programs better. Right.
Absolutely. There's so many great ideas and creative news stories that have been stifled because they didn't have the proper funding. We have the fourth estates of the realm, and it's good that we're being treated that way by the president himself. Moving on straight to Sporting Life. Eagles bank on Osimhen for goals. This is not new, but what I want to focus on here is no more war in Rabat. The issue has been resolved, says Ekong, and the Super Eagles have returned back to training. They boycotted. They spoke up and said, we're not going to be trained. Our allowances went paid, but now they are back on the pitch. It means I say money don't land.
Because we saw the press conference yesterday, So yeah, I don't think this matters always needs to come online or in the public eye before NFF and the people involved to jump up to bring solution. Let's just make this guy happy. This will they collect better money for another place. So
indeed,
if your job fix, another jackpot.
Absolutely.
Another thing, I think it's a little bit dangerous for the Eagles to bank all their hopes on Osimhen. Every team should have like 2 or 3 very good finishers, So that way, your opponent knows that Osimhen is the point man and everybody is there.
Absolutely.
So
this is Osimhen's time. We could let him shine.
Let him shine.
That is the golden egg theory playing out right there. But that is it for the newspaper review. Thank you so much for your input, boys. Coming up on TVC Breakfast. Tensions and debates rise over the FCT ministers' clash with military officers. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.